Guys, it's your friend Sheila from Strategies for Success coming with my regular Friday vlog. And if you don't know me, I'm a small business consultant. I focus mainly in the art and framing industry, and I'm here to help you out and talk about things, real issues that we face as business owners and working in this industry. And if you're struggling or burnt out, maybe this could be the vlog for you today. And I am going to get a little bit, maybe personal, to share some of my struggles that I've had. You can learn from my ridiculous mistakes. And we're going to talk about some things that might be, hopefully not triggering, but I want to focus today on mental health issues. And that's something we don't talk about a lot in this industry. But owning a business, for me, it felt like having a newborn baby. It required all my attention all the time, all day. I never got any sleep. Waking up in the middle of the night, check and see if the baby's still breathing, all those things. Is my business still alive? Okay. And so I'm gonna get again be a little vulnerable and personal here with you, but I hope that it helps because I think if we do talk about it, that only helps. I want to take the stigma out of the struggles that we feel. I think sometimes I always felt like I had to put on a front that, I'm great, everything's going fantastic, when inside I felt like I was falling apart. So I want to help you if you're in that place. Let's talk about how to get out of it. And if you're going to that place, how to avoid getting there. So let's move on. So our title of my uh, presentation today. It's called Mind Your Business, literally before it minds you. And you need to really take care of your mental health. Um, it's it's a topic that's whispered about in hushed tones or ignored completely until, you're found mumbling to a houseplant at 3 a.m. There's a lot of mental challenges that we face as entrepreneurs and business owners. So I coach people who are maybe just starting out in small business, and I love it and I kind of hate it too because I feel like I'm a little bit of a dream smasher because they come in with this romanticized idea of what it's going to be like to, "Oh, I'm going to finally be my own boss. I'm finally going to own my own business. I tell my boss to stick it." And those things are fantastic. Let me tell you, I've done it. It's amazing. But it's basically you're working 80 hours a week for yourself because you didn't want to work 40 hours a week for somebody else. So it's a special kind of glorious self-inflicted torture. And we joke about it, because if you don't, you're going to be crying into your coffee. That's probably cold by now. But this is a really serious issue. And a lot of entrepreneurs find themselves on this roller coaster of pure elation and when things are going well, and then utter despair when they don't. It's a really bipolar career path. And it's kind of like dating a supermodel who occasionally sets your house on fire. Unpredictable and destructive, but still kind of hot. So let's be honest. Who hasn't had that moment of staring at a spreadsheet or an email or your to-do list at 3 a.m. or waking up in the middle of the night being, "Oh my gosh, I forgot to order this." And we're wondering if this whole thing, owning a business, was a terrible, terrible mistake. And maybe I should go back to selling hand knitted dog sweaters on Etsy. Guilty as charged. My dad Lucky still wonders why I abandoned his fashion career, and he's kind of salty about it. So, what are some of the biggest mental health villains lurking in the entrepreneurial shadows, ready to pounce on our over caffeinated or overworked little brains? So I'm going to go through what I'm like to call a rogues gallery of monsters and entrepreneurial anguish. And these characters are damaging to our mental health, and you might see yourself in some of them. So the first one we have is what I like to call the pressure cooker. We're all in this place, I think. Um, and people don't realize how hard it is to be one who is large and in charge. You're the person with whom the buck stops. You're not just responsible for your own ability to afford ramen noodles, but the livelihoods of your employees, their children, their goldfish. Also, you may have an investor. They've got to make their yacht payments. Um, and it feels like the whole global economy is riding on your shoulders. And it's the weight of the world. And, you've got that going on, and you're already hunched over a laptop and developing chronic neck pain. So it's kind of like playing adult Jenga. But if you pull the wrong block, your entire financial future and that of all the people that you work with and love, it all collapses. So it's a lot, and it's super fun. The other monster that you may see is the isolationist. And I think a lot of us have felt this. I really felt this. Um, you're the boss. So who do you vent to when you have a problem or frustration, or you had to deal with a customer who wasn't very nice? You can't talk to your team really. That's not a very good idea unless you want them to start updating their LinkedIn profiles. Your spouse and your friends who work 9 to 5, bless them, we love them, but they really just don't get it. And they say, things like, oh, just turn off your brain. Well, it's Friday. Enjoy. Yeah, if only, Chad, I'd love to do that. But it's like being stranded on a desert island, but instead of palm trees, you've got a mountain of unpaid invoices and a looming deadline that feels like a T-Rex approaching. It's lonely, and you feel very, very alone. And lurking in the shadows is the one I really struggle with, and that's the imposter syndrome monster. He whispers in your ear, "You're a fraud. This is all a fluke. Any minute now, everyone's going to find out that you're just making this up as you go along, and that maybe you're wearing sweatpants under your desk." Sure, maybe I am. Be quiet. Pants are comfortable. But this one's the kicker, and it's often compounded by the constant need to project an image of this effortless success. Even when internally you're screaming into a pillow about how you're going to make payroll next month. It's the entrepreneurial equivalent of the "this is fine" dog meme, but with more cold sweats and an urgent need for your emergency chocolate stash. And finally, my personal favorite, I've been this one, the dreaded burnout beast. So this little beast creeps up on you slowly at first, disguised as dedication. Just one more hour. You're grinding, you're hustling, you're being a boss babe, until suddenly you're staring blankly at your monitor, unable to form a coherent thought, and contemplating whether a career as a professional rodeo clown is more stable and less brain intensive. So the burnout beast isn't just tired, it's the kind of tired that sleep can't fix. You need a full body reboot and maybe a year on a remote island with no Wi-Fi. So how do we slay these beasts? Where's our entrepreneurial survival kit? We've identified the monsters. Now, how do we slay these shadowy fiends? What are some practical, non-woo-woo, truly sanity-saving solutions to keep our entrepreneurial minds from melting into a pile of existential dread goo? So, number one, don't fight me on this. You need to schedule self-care. And how I got over this hump, because I really struggle with that, is you block out time on your calendar. Okay, so this is Aunt Sheila talking, kids. Get your phone, and there's a thing on there called a calendar. And I want you to go in there, and I want you today right now, schedule half an hour a day just for yourself. And that meeting is sacrosanct. Nobody takes precedence over it. Um, and schedule things like, a little walk, maybe with your dog or your sweetheart, some meditation, even if it's just 5 minutes, if that's where you can start, about not thinking about anything work related. Stare blankly at a wall and drink some lukewarm tea or do absolutely nothing productive. And that's okay. For the love of all that is holy, don't you dare reschedule that me time. This is your most important client, you. So you do that. Do it, schedule time. Myself, I usually get up pretty early in the morning because we've got dogs and I'm old and, gotta go visit the facilities. But when I get up in the morning, and TMI, but I get up in the morning, grab something to drink, go sit outside with my dog in our backyard, and just watch the sunrise come up and think about the day. Think about what am I gonna focus on that day that's positive? Maybe I'm gonna try and be more patient. Maybe I'm gonna be more task oriented and I'm gonna finish this one thing. Maybe I'm gonna be kinder. Maybe I'm gonna tell the people in my life that I love more than anything how much I appreciate them. Maybe I'm gonna write a letter or send a text to the kids and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. Love you lots." Just silly little things like that that mean a lot. I'm gonna call a friend and go out for a drink after work or whatever. But think about those things that you can do throughout the day. I'll listen to inspirational music or inspirational podcasts just for half an hour. And that when I do that and I'm diligent about it, I think the act of just taking time for myself, it absolutely affects my mental health because it's like, hey, I'm putting myself as a priority. I've got a million people and I love my clients, don't get me wrong, but they need me and they need me to be, thinking straight with my noggin. The other thing, again, this is hard, set boundaries, glorious boundaries. Learn to say no. Practice with me, say it. No. No to that gigantic 18 by 25-foot project that somebody wants to bring in and pay you $1,000 for it. No, say no. Say no to late night emails that can absolutely wait until the morning. Say no to your internal voice telling you that you need to be working 24/7. Your business will not spontaneously combust. I promise you. Go ahead, watch that episode of the Great British Bake Off with your sweetheart on the couch, or, go take a shower, take a bath. It's okay. Set boundaries, set up a work time. I clock out at this time and I don't check my email anytime after that. That's it. So set those boundaries, learn to say no. And this next one, again, it's really hard because business owners are all a little bit of a control freaks, secretly or blatantly. But guess what? Okay, I'm going to tell you something really hard to hear. You're not a superhero. You're not. I don't care how many energy drinks you consume. Red Bull does not give you wings. You are not a superhero and you can't do everything. And trying to do everything is only going to lead to mediocre results and probably a minor mental breakdown in the stationery aisle of the grocery store. So identify tasks that can be outsourced. You can hire people to do it, or simply just, you know what? Here's something really weird to think. Don't do them. It's okay. Trust me, the world is not going to end if your inbox isn't at zero. Mine hasn't been at zero since 2012. So the world is still spinning, mostly. It's okay. Delegate those things. Focus on the things that are important in your business and delegate the rest to other people who can do them. That's what you hired them for. Next up, find your tribe. Connect with other entrepreneurs who actually get it. So whether it's a formal mastermind group or an online forum, there's lots of really good groups like Framers Only, Underpinner, The Grumble, Women in Picture Framing, um, Frame Academy. There's lots of groups that are focused just on framers and their private groups. So we can talk about the struggles that we face in a supportive environment for the most part. Also, you can start a WhatsApp group of like-minded, crazy people who understand why you just sent a crying emoji at 2 a.m. Having others who understand your unique challenges, it's invaluable. And they can offer advice, they can commiserate, share war stories, and occasionally talk you off the ledge, and maybe discourage you from quitting the framing biz and starting a goat yoga studio because that will involve goats. Been there, almost bought the goats. Sheila learned a lesson. And don't forget the transformative power of professional help. I want to absolutely destigmatize seeing a therapist. There's no stigma behind it. It's no different than going to the dentist. It's just helps your brain. Therapists can be an absolute game changer. They're like a highly skilled, non-judgmental business coach for your brain. They can help you untangle all those knotted thoughts and give you some good coping mechanisms. It really has helped me. I used to have anxiety attacks, and my therapist helped me use, I had medication sometimes, but I had some non-medication ways to de-escalate when I start feeling like I'm gonna have a bad anxiety attack. I can refocus and make it go away. Um, this is the one person who will truly listen and not judge. And yes, typically you have to pay them for this privilege, but it is worth every penny. Now, I meet with a therapist about once a month now. I have met before, once a week, just depending on what I was going through in my life at the time. My therapist helps me unpack and understand the drama in my personal life, and she holds me accountable for things like scheduling self-care and working on my own self-improvement goals. And most importantly, helps me manage my stress. It helps to be able to vent to somebody. She's talked me off the ledge many times, and I am eternally grateful for all of her help and support. Now, I know as business owners, sometimes we don't have or can't afford the greatest insurance. But if you do have insurance, usually mental health care is in there. If it's not, there are sources online like BetterHelp. You can go, I'm not endorsed by them or anything, but it's a little bit lower cost option. And you can do sliding scale with some mental health clinics. So check it out and see. But it helps to have somebody to talk to. So I really, really encourage you to do that. Even when I'm feeling, at this point in my life, I'm feeling relatively mentally healthy, knock wood, but I still talk to my therapist just to keep me on track. And finally, a bit of a crucial mindset shift. We need to embrace what I like to call the messy middle and just manage your expectations. Have realistic expectations of what outcomes are going to be. Basically, don't freak out. Being an entrepreneur is not this straight line to success. And this is what I explain to my newer clients, especially. It's kind of more like this roller coaster that's designed by a mad scientist, and it has all these unexpected loops and turns and drops and occasional scary clowns. It's not a linear path. There's going to be setbacks, and there's going to be some glorious failures and days when you feel like you're flailing in a kiddie pool filled with jello. That's normal. Acknowledge it and learn from it and laugh at the absurdity and keep swimming or doggy paddling or whatever works. kind of like to think of the messy middle, like, when you bake a pan of brownies, and maybe you pull it out 2 minutes too soon, and you have the nice crispy or regular brownies around the edges, but inside it's a little bit more gooey. Still cooked. It's not going to give you food poisoning. It's still cooked, but it's a little bit gooier, and it's still good. It's okay. It's just not, perfectly square, wonderful brownie. It's a little bit more brownie goo, but it's still delicious, and it's still a brownie, and it's okay. So let's recap about your brain, your business, and your future. So our monster slaying toolkit, schedule self-care. Remember, it's like a VIP meeting with yourself. Don't reschedule it. That time is absolutely vital for you to make sure that your brain is healthy. Set boundaries like a bouncer in an exclusive club. Set those boundaries and stick to them. Find your tribe. Find those fellow adventurers and crazy framers. They're a wonderful group. I so treasure the friendships that I've made in this industry. Amazing group of people. Framers are usually really, really nice folks. Delegate like a pro and know your limits. Remember, you're not a superhero. You are to me, but realistically, you're not a superhero. And consider professional help for that brain tune-up every month or so. And lastly, embrace that beautiful, chaotic, messy, brownie, gooey middle. It's delicious. Doesn't have to be perfect all the time. So remember that your mental health is your most valuable asset as an entrepreneur. Without it, your business simply won't thrive, and you won't be very fun to work for or with. In fact, without it, you might just end up living in a fort made of Amazon boxes, communicating only with stray squirrels. So treat your brain with the same obsessive care and attention and strategic planning that you would give a piece of fine art or your P&L statement. Because honestly, give it even more attention. Because let's be real, a healthy mind can make a truly awful P&L statement feel, well, maybe not great, but at least manageable. And a broken mind just makes everything look awful. Even when, you could have a stellar super sale P&L, and, and you're still not going to see the good things that are happening in your business. So that's why it's so important, I feel, to really do some self-care and make sure that you are mentally healthy so that you can embrace the good things that happen in your business. And, it's not going to go perfect every day. In fact, most days aren't going to go perfect. In fact, I can only think of my whole 30 plus years of framing, maybe two perfect days ever. So it's just not going to be that way. So have some self-awareness and understand that things happen. You can handle it. It's not the end of the world. And you just move on. So, to all our entrepreneurial listeners out there, take a deep breath. You are not alone in this wild ride. And remember that it's okay not to be okay. The important thing is to have the tools and support and navigate those challenges. Your business needs you. And most importantly, you need you. Your family needs you. So take good care of yourself. So again, my name is Sheila McCumbee. I am a small business consultant with strategies for success. And if you are struggling and maybe you're feeling burnt out, business has dropped off, and sometimes it's just hard to see where you're going, and you're feeling overwhelmed with paperwork, and you wish you had a better understanding of all that pricing and boring reports and business stuff. It's hard to do all those things. And that's why I'm here to help. That's my passion. I love doing that stuff. So remember that I offer every new client a free 1 hour consultation. That's worth $100, folks, because I'm worth it. So yeah, if you are curious or you just need to talk to somebody about something, please don't be shy about reaching out. There's my website, my email, my phone number, and I would be happy to talk to you. And especially if you are struggling, especially if you are burnout, I'm happy to talk to you and give you a little coaching and a little virtual hug over the computer. So thank you for tuning in. I hope this helps. And let me know in the comments, how we can help each other with mental health concerns. I'd also love it, like they say, I hate saying it, but please like and subscribe. It helps me so, so much. You don't even know. And make some comments. Let me know, what are you struggling with? The things that you'd like me to address. I'm happy to do that. Um, so please do like, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps me out and it convinces my dog that I still have some form of, marketable skills. And I'm kind of thinking about dog sweaters right now because, lucky I've got some ideas for the winter line. So thanks again for joining me. Wishing you a wonderful day. And I hope that you have a great weekend, lots of success, and we'll see you again next week.